The deep space monitoring station floated silently at the edge of known space. Inside, Ambassador Velthar studied the screens with growing concern. His long fingers moved across the controls as he reviewed the data one more time. He could not believe what he was seeing. "How long has this signal been broadcasting?" he asked his team. "At least 200 cycles, Ambassador," replied his assistant. "We only noticed it because the wavelength matched our old warning patterns." Velthar felt his chest tighten. A warning pattern from 200 cycles ago meant this civilization was developing fast. Too fast. He pulled up the visual data from their observation drones. A blue and green planet appeared on the screen. White clouds swirled across its surface. It looked peaceful and beautiful. But Velthar knew better than to trust appearances. "Show me their communications," he said quietly. The screens filled with images and sounds from Earth. Velthar watched as humans competed in physical contests. They ran, jumped, and fought in controlled environments while crowds cheered. He saw their entertainment programs filled with battles and conflicts. Their news broadcasts reported on disagreements between their nations. Their literature and films celebrated warriors and struggles. "Ambassador, you need to see their history files," his assistant said, her voice shaking. "We translated their data networks." Velthar opened the historical records. His blood went cold as he read. War after war, conflict after conflict. Humans had fought each other for thousands of their years. They had created weapons that could destroy their entire world, and yet they survived. They thrived. They grew stronger after every conflict. "By the ancient stars," Velthar whispered, "they are like the Kreshtar." Everyone in the control room fell silent. The Kreshtar had been a predator species that nearly destroyed half the galaxy 3,000 cycles ago. It had taken the combined might of 40 species to stop them. Velthar had studied that war in his youth. The Kreshtar had also been competitive, aggressive, and driven by conflict. "We must contact the Council immediately," Velthar said. "This is an emergency." 3 days later, the Galactic Council gathered in their great chamber. Representatives from 150 species filled the floating platforms. The chamber hummed with worried voices. Ambassador Velthar stood at the center platform, presenting his findings. "Honored members," he began, "we have discovered a Class 3 civilization in the Outer Rim. They call themselves humans. They call their planet Earth. And they match every marker of an apex predator species." A wave of alarm swept through the chamber. An apex predator species was the most dangerous classification in the galaxy. Only 3 such species had ever been identified. 2 had been destroyed in wars. 1 had destroyed itself. The galaxy still bore scars from those conflicts. "What makes you certain of this classification?" asked Council Leader Morin, a wise being from the oldest species in the galaxy. Velthar displayed the evidence on the massive screens. "They glorify competition. Their entire society is built on struggle and challenge. They create entertainment that simulates violence. Their history shows constant warfare, yet each war makes them stronger. They have split the atom and reached their moon during periods of conflict. They advance through adversity." "Perhaps they have learned from their mistakes," suggested Representative Ilara from the peaceful Mindel species. "Perhaps they have changed." "Their broadcasts are current," Velthar replied. "Even now, they compete, they argue, they push each other. This is not a phase of development. This is their nature." The council chamber erupted in debate. Some members wanted to destroy Earth before humans could develop faster than light travel. Others argued for containment. A few suggested observation. The argument went on for hours. Finally, Council Leader Morhen raised his hand for silence. "We are not destroyers," he said firmly. "We have maintained peace for 10,000 cycles because we choose diplomacy over violence. But we also have a duty to protect the galaxy. I propose we send a warning." "A warning?" Velthar asked. "What if they ignore it?" "Then we will know their intentions," Morin replied. "If they are truly aggressive, they will respond with hostility or defiance. If they respond with understanding, perhaps there is hope. But we must give them a chance. We must warn them of the path they walk." After more discussion, the council voted. The decision was made. Earth would receive 1 warning, one chance to stay in their solar system. If they refused, the council would take action. Velthar was chosen to write the message. He spent 3 days crafting each word carefully. The message had to be clear but not threatening, firm but not aggressive. It had to make humans understand the danger they posed without making them feel attacked. Finally, the message was ready. Velthar read it one last time before transmission. To the inhabitants of the third planet, you are being watched. Your species exhibits dangerous tendencies. You glorify conflict, celebrate competition, and thrive in adversity. These are the markers of predator species that have brought ruin to the galaxy. This is your only warning. Remain in your solar system. Do not seek the stars. Do not reach beyond your world. The Galactic Council will not permit another predator species to threaten the peace we have maintained for 10,000 cycles. He hesitated before pressing the transmission button. Something about this felt wrong. The humans had not attacked anyone. They had not even left their solar system. They were dangerous only in potential, not in action. But the council had voted, and he had his duty. Velthar pressed the button. The message launched into space, traveling at faster-than-light speed toward Earth. It would arrive in 3 of their days. He wondered how the humans would respond. Would they be angry, fearful, defiant? He looked at the image of Earth on his screen. Such a beautiful planet, such a dangerous species. He hoped they would understand. He hoped they would listen. But deep in his heart, Velthar suspected that humans would surprise them all. Predator species always did. The question was whether it would be a pleasant surprise or a terrible one. The message was sent. Now they could only wait and watch. The fate of both humanity and the galaxy might depend on what happened next. Velthar returned to his station, setting up continuous monitoring of Earth's communications. Whatever the humans decided, the Council would know immediately. In the quiet of the observation room, Velthar studied the blue planet one more time. Somewhere down there, humans lived their lives, completely unaware that their world had just been discovered, completely unaware that they had been judged, completely unaware that a warning was coming that would change everything. He whispered a prayer to the ancient stars, hoping that wisdom would guide both the Council and the humans in the days to come. Junho Kang rubbed his tired eyes and took another sip of cold coffee. The night shift at the Deep Space Communications Array in Seoul was usually quiet. Most nights, he just monitored background radiation and logged routine data. Tonight seemed no different as he watched the screens showing various frequencies from space. Then everything changed. The main screen suddenly lit up with alerts. Junho sat up straight, his heart racing. The system was detecting a signal. Not random noise, not natural radiation, an actual structured signal, and it was strong, very strong. "No way," Junho whispered. His hands shook as he started recording everything. This can't be real. He ran the signal through the analysis program. The patterns were too perfect to be natural, too complex to be a mistake. Someone or something had sent this deliberately, and it was directed at Earth. Junho grabbed his phone and called his supervisor. Then he called his supervisor's supervisor. Within 30 minutes, the building was full of people. Within 2 hours, Director Hana Park arrived from the United Earth Space Agency headquarters. "Show me," Hana said simply, standing behind Junho's chair. Junho played back the signal. "It's using mathematics as a base language. Prime numbers, basic geometry, fundamental constants. Someone out there knows we can understand this." "Can you translate it?" Hana asked. "I'm working on it now. The pattern suggests a message structure similar to the pioneer plaques we sent out decades ago. Whoever sent this studied our communication methods." Hana felt a chill run down her spine. They've been watching us. It took 6 hours to fully translate the message. As each section decoded, the room grew quieter. Scientists, linguists, and government officials crowded around the screens, reading the words that appeared. When the full message finally displayed, nobody spoke for a long moment. "They think we're dangerous," someone finally said. "They're warning us to stay away," another voice added. Hana read the message 3 more times. Her mind raced through the implications. Humanity was not alone. Aliens existed. There was a galactic council. They had been watching Earth, and they saw humans as a threat. "We need to assemble a team immediately," Hana said. "Get me our best linguists, xenobiologists, and diplomats. We need to understand exactly what this means and how to respond." Within 12 hours, a crisis team gathered in a secure facility. Hana had chosen carefully. Junho was there for his technical expertise. Minji Choi, a linguistic anthropologist, sat beside him. Yoonho Lee, who specialized in theoretical xenobiology, took notes furiously. And UN Secretary-General Taejin Ro attended via secure video link. "Let's break this message down," Minji said, pulling up the text on the main screen. "They say we exhibit dangerous tendencies. They list competition, conflict, and thriving in adversity as markers of predator species. They warn us not to leave our solar system." "They're threatening us," Taejin said from the video screen. "This is clearly a threat." "Is it?" Minji asked quietly. Everyone looked at her. "Read it again. They say we match markers of dangerous species. They don't say we are dangerous. They say these traits have brought ruin to the galaxy, past tense. They're basing their warning on past experiences with other species." Junho leaned forward. "You're saying they're judging us based on someone else's actions?" "Exactly," Minji replied. "They've seen species like us before. Those species caused problems, so they're warning us before we can do the same. But think about what this really means." She stood up, excitement growing in her voice. "They took the time to translate their message into our language system. They sent a warning instead of attacking. They care enough about us to try to prevent disaster." Yoonho nodded slowly. "A truly aggressive species wouldn't warn. They would just eliminate the threat. The Galactic Council is scared, yes, but they're also hopeful. Otherwise, why bother with a message at all?" "So what do we do?" Taejin asked. "How do we respond?" The room fell silent again. This was the most important decision in human history. One wrong word could doom Earth to isolation or worse. "What if we thank them?" Junho said suddenly. Everyone stared at him. "I'm serious. What if we respond with gratitude? They gave us 3 incredible gifts. First, they confirmed we're not alone in the universe. That's the answer to humanity's oldest question. Second, they warned us about the dangers in space. Now we can prepare. Third, they told us the galaxy has had 10,000 cycles of peace. That proves cooperation is possible." Minji's eyes widened. "That's brilliant. They expect fear or defiance. They're ready for aggression or submission. But gratitude? That would completely change the dynamic." "It's also honest," Yoonho added. "We should be grateful. They didn't have to warn us. They could have destroyed us or left us ignorant. Instead, they reached out." Hana felt something click in her mind. This was right. This was the human way. Taking a threat and finding the opportunity within it. Taking a warning and finding the lesson. "Secretary General, we need global approval for this. Can you get it?" Taejin was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled. "I think for the first time in history, every nation on Earth will agree on something. Give me 3 weeks to coordinate. Make the message perfect." Those 3 weeks were the most intense of Minji's life. She assembled a team of linguists, philosophers, and communication specialists. They debated every word, every phrase, every nuance. The message had to convey genuine gratitude without seeming weak. It had to acknowledge the Council's concerns without accepting the label of dangerous. It had to invite friendship without demanding it. Finally, the message was complete. Every nation on Earth had reviewed it. Every government had approved it. This would be humanity's voice speaking as one. Junho prepared the transmission array. Hana stood beside him as officials from around the world joined via video link. The moment felt sacred, historic, terrifying, and wonderful at the same time. "Ready?" Hana asked softly. Junho nodded. "Ready?" "Then send it." Junho pressed the button. Earth's response shot into space, traveling faster than light toward the Galactic Council. "Honored members of the Galactic Council, we received your warning with profound gratitude. You have given us three precious gifts. First, you have confirmed we are not alone. Second, you have warned us of the dangers ahead, allowing us to prepare. Third, you have shown us that the galaxy has known peace for 10,000 cycles, proving that cooperation is possible. We thank you for caring enough to warn us. We understand your concern. Yes, we are competitive. Yes, we struggle. Yes, we have fought wars. But we have also learned. We invite you to observe us further. Watch as we prepare for the stars, not as conquerors, but as students eager to learn from those who came before us. With respect and hope, humanity. The message was sent. Now came the hard part, proving they meant every word. Within days, something unprecedented happened. Earth's nations began working together in ways they never had before. Old enemies sat at tables together. Resources poured into a unified space program. The United Earth Space Initiative was born with Hana as its leader. We have to show them, Hana told her team. We have to prove that we can channel our competitive nature into something positive. We have to demonstrate that we've learned from our mistakes. Junho pulled up plans on his screen. Then let's build something that shows exactly that. Not a weapon, not a fortress, a welcome center, a place where we can meet them as friends. And so construction began on Harmony Station, a massive diplomatic platform at the edge of the solar system. Thousands of engineers, scientists, and workers poured their energy into the project. It would be humanity's hand extended to the stars. Somewhere out in space, the message was traveling toward the Galactic Council. Junho often wondered what their reaction would be. Would they understand? Would they accept Earth's gratitude as genuine? Would they give humanity a chance? Only time would tell. But for the first time in history, humanity was united by hope instead of fear, by gratitude instead of anger. Whatever came next, they would face it together. Ambassador Velthar stared at the translated message from Earth for the 10th time. He could not make sense of it. The humans were thanking the Council, thanking them for a warning. This was not the response of a predator species. This was not defiance or aggression. This was something else entirely. They must be deceiving us, said Representative Korth, a military advisor from the warrior caste. This is a trick. They pretend to be peaceful while they prepare for war. Or perhaps we misunderstood them, Velthar replied quietly. He pulled up Earth's recent communications. Look at their activities since receiving our warning. They have not increased their weapons production. They have not fortified their planet. Instead, they are building something at the edge of their solar system. The council members gathered around the holographic display. A massive structure was taking shape in Earth's outer reaches. It was huge, complex, and growing rapidly. Ships carried materials from Earth and its moon. Thousands of workers coordinated the construction. A battle station, Korth said immediately. They build a fortress to challenge us. I do not think so. Velthar zoomed in on the structure's design. There are no weapon emplacements, no shield generators, no military docking bays. This structure has diplomatic quarters, cultural centers, research laboratories. They are building a meeting place. Council leader Morhen studied the plans carefully. They call it Harmony Station according to their broadcasts. They say it is designed to welcome us. But how can we trust this? We cannot, Korth insisted. We should send a fleet to destroy it before completion. No, Morhen said firmly. We voted to give them one warning. We will honor that decision, but we will also watch them closely. Velthar, I want you to take an observation fleet to their solar system. Study this station. Monitor their activities. Report back to the council. Velthar felt his heart sink. He would have to go closer to the predator species, but it was his duty. I will prepare to leave immediately. On Earth, construction of Harmony Station continued at an incredible pace. Chief Engineer Soman Han barely slept as she coordinated thousands of workers across multiple construction sites. The station was her vision made real, and she pushed herself harder than anyone. We need the cultural center completed first, Soman told her team during a morning briefing. When they arrive, and they will arrive, we need to show them who we are immediately. The translation technology is still being tested, one engineer reported. We have to prepare for communication with species we have never met. We do not know their languages. Then we use the same method they used with us, Soman replied. Mathematics, images, music, art, things that transcend language. Every human culture will contribute. I want galleries showing our history, our mistakes, and what we learned from them. Junho visited the station 3 months into construction. He floated through the incomplete corridors, amazed at what had been accomplished. Workers from every nation worked side by side. Scientists prepared research equipment. Artists created pieces meant for alien eyes. Everyone had a purpose. It's beautiful, Junho said to Soman as they looked out at Earth from the observation deck. It has to be more than beautiful, Soman replied. It has to be honest. We are putting everything on display. Our wars, our failures, our triumphs. If we hide our flaws, they will never trust us. So we show them everything and let them judge. What if they judge us as dangerous anyway? Junho asked. Soman smiled. Then at least we tried. At least we reached out with open hands instead of closed fists. That has to mean something. Back on Earth, Ambassador Hyejin Nam prepared for a role that did not officially exist yet. She was training to be humanity's first interstellar diplomat. Her days were filled with studying theoretical xenopsychology, communication theory, and cultural anthropology. She had to be ready for anything. You cannot prepare for every possibility, Minji Choi told her during a training session. You can only prepare your mind to be flexible. Remember that whatever species we meet, they will be as confused by us as we are by them. Your job is to find common ground. What if there is no common ground? Hyejin asked. There is always common ground, Minji insisted. The desire to survive, the love of home, curiosity about the universe. These things connect all intelligent beings. Find those connections, and everything else follows. While Earth prepared, the Galactic Council's observation fleet approached the solar system. Velthar commanded 3 ships carrying scientists, diplomats, and security officers. They entered Earth's outer reaches carefully, weapons powered down but ready. Ambassador, we are detecting multiple vessels approaching, his navigator reported. Human ships, 20 of them. They are surrounding us. Velthar tensed. Battle formations? No, sir. They are spreading out. It looks like an escort formation. Sir, we are receiving a transmission. A human face appeared on the screen. Captain Dongwoo Yun of Earth's patrol fleet smiled warmly. Welcome to our solar system, honored guests. I am Captain Yun. We have been expecting you. Will you allow us to escort you to Harmony Station? We promise you safe passage. Velthar was stunned. They were not attacking. They were welcoming. How did you know we were coming? We have been watching your approach for 3 days, Dongwoo replied. Your ships are quite visible to our sensors. We wanted to greet you properly. Will you accept our invitation? Velthar looked at his security chief, who shrugged. They had come to observe. They might as well see what the humans wanted to show them. We accept. Please, lead the way. The journey to Harmony Station took 6 hours. Velthar spent that time studying the human escort ships. They were armed but not aggressive, fast but not threatening, professional but friendly. Everything about them confused his expectations. When Harmony Station finally came into view, Velthar felt his breath catch. The structure was enormous, beautiful, and clearly incomplete. Yet even unfinished, it radiated purpose. Landing bays stood open. Lights welcomed them. Display screens showed greetings in the Council's own mathematical language. They learned our language, his assistant whispered. They studied us just as we studied them. Soman Han met them at the docking bay. She wore a formal suit but smiled naturally. Behind her stood a diverse group of humans, each wearing different clothes representing their various cultures. Ambassador Velthar, Somin said, somehow knowing which one he was. Thank you for coming. We are honored by your visit. May I offer you a tour of our station? Velthar and his team followed Soman through Harmony Station. She showed them everything. The cultural galleries displayed human history without shame. Wars were documented alongside peace treaties. Weapons were shown next to medical advances. Every triumph was balanced with honesty about failures. This is our memorial hall, Somin said, leading them into a large room. Here we remember what conflict cost us, every war, every life lost. We do not glorify violence. We remember its price. We learn from it, so we do not repeat it. Velthar studied the displays. Images of destruction sat next to images of rebuilding. Stories of soldiers were paired with stories of peacemakers. It was raw and honest in a way he had never seen before. They continued to the research laboratories. Scientists worked on communication technology, medical equipment designed for unknown biologies, and cultural exchange programs. Everything was prepared to welcome alien visitors, not fight them. Finally, Soman led them to the Hall of First Contact. It was a large auditorium with an empty stage. This is where we hope the first official meeting will happen. That podium is waiting for the first ambassador who will address humanity. We hope that will be you, Ambassador Velthar. Velthar stared at the empty podium. Thousands of seats surrounded it. Display screens waited to broadcast to all of Earth. Everything was ready. They were truly expecting friendship, not conflict. Why? Velthar asked suddenly. Why do all this? We warned you. We told you to stay in your system. Why risk everything to welcome us? Someone looked at him with clear, honest eyes. Because you cared enough to warn us. Because you showed us that peace is possible. Because we would rather try and fail than never try at all. Ambassador, we are competitive, yes. But we compete to be better neighbors, better friends, better learners. You warned us about what we could become. We want to show you what we choose to become. Velthar felt something shift in his understanding. These humans were not trying to deceive. They were genuinely hopeful, genuinely grateful, genuinely seeking friendship. They had taken the Council's fear and responded with openness. I must report this to the Council, Velthar said quietly. What I have seen here changes everything. Then report honestly, Soman replied. Tell them we are ready. Tell them we are waiting. Tell them we want to learn, not conquer. Tell them thank you for giving us the chance to prove ourselves. That night, Velthar sat in his ship, composing his report. His hands hesitated over the transmission button. This report would change galactic policy. It would challenge 10,000 cycles of caution. But he knew what he had to say. He pressed send, and his words traveled to the Council. Humanity is not a threat. They are an opportunity. The Galactic Council chamber erupted in chaos when Velthar's report arrived. Council members argued loudly. Some called him a fool. Others said he had been deceived. A few listened carefully to his words and wondered if he might be right. This is madness, Representative Korth shouted above the noise. He has been there only a few weeks and already he trusts them? The humans have clearly manipulated him. Or perhaps we have been wrong, Council Leader Morhen said quietly. The chamber slowly fell silent. Velthar is one of our most experienced diplomats. He has studied predator species his entire career. If he says humanity is different, we should at least investigate further before dismissing his observations. What do you propose? Asked Representative Ilara. I propose we allow Velthar more time to study them, Morhen replied. Let him observe their true nature. If they are deceiving us, time will reveal it. If they are genuine, we may be witnessing something unprecedented. The Council voted. Velthar would continue his observation for 6 more months. He would send regular reports. And at the end of that time, the Council would make a final decision about humanity. Velthar received the news with mixed feelings. 6 more months near a potential predator species was dangerous, but 6 more months to understand these fascinating beings was an opportunity. He decided to use the time well. He began by requesting permission to visit Earth itself. To his surprise, Hyejin Nam immediately sent an invitation. Come see our world, Ambassador. Walk our streets. Meet our people. See how we truly live. Velthar landed in Seoul, where the Deep Space Communications Array had first received the Council's message. The city was massive, crowded, and alive with energy. Millions of humans moved through the streets. Buildings reached toward the sky. The noise was overwhelming at first, But as Velthar walked through the city with Hyojin as his guide, he began to notice things. People helped strangers who had dropped items. Children played together regardless of their differences. Workers competed to complete their jobs well but helped each other when needed. There was conflict, yes, but also cooperation. Competition, yes, but also compassion. This is the Unified Space Initiative headquarters, Hyojin said, leading him into a tall building. Inside, people from every human nation worked together. Scientists shared data freely. Engineers from old enemy nations solved problems as teams. Military officers who once opposed each other now coordinated peaceful space missions. How did you achieve this unity so quickly? Velthar asked. Your history shows thousands of years of division. Hyojin smiled. We found something bigger than our differences. Your warning gave us a common purpose. We realized that competing with each other was meaningless when we could compete together to reach the stars. We did not stop being competitive, Ambassador. We just found a better competition. That evening, Velthar attended a global broadcast that humans called Contact Day. It was a celebration of the 6-month anniversary of receiving the Council's warning. He watched from the audience as people from around the world participated. A group of children sang a song they had written together. The lyrics welcomed potential alien friends. They sang about hoping to learn from others and share their own knowledge. Their voices were pure and hopeful. Then veterans of human wars spoke. Velthar expected them to boast about battles. Instead, they talked about what they learned from conflict. They spoke about the cost of misunderstanding. They explained how they wished they had communicated better before fighting. They expressed hope that humanity's mistakes could help others avoid the same paths. Scientists presented their latest research into alien communication methods. Artists displayed works meant to bridge cultural divides. Teachers explained new programs to prepare children for a universe of diversity. Through it all, one theme repeated: gratitude. Every speaker thanked the Council for the warning. Every presentation emphasized learning over conquering. Every display showed eagerness to understand rather than dominate. Velthar felt something break inside him, a wall of assumptions and fears that he had carried for decades. These humans were not pretending. This was real. They had genuinely transformed the Council's warning into inspiration. After the broadcast, Hyojin invited him for a private conversation. They sat in a quiet office overlooking the city lights. You still have doubts, Hyojin said. It was not a question. I do, Velthar admitted. Your species has all the markers of previous predator species, yet you behave so differently. I do not understand how this is possible. Hyojin nodded. Ambassador, may I speak honestly, perhaps rudely? Please do. I think the Council has forgotten something important, Hyojin said carefully. You have had peace for 10,000 cycles. That is wonderful. That is what we hope to achieve. But peace without challenge becomes stagnation. The Council stopped growing because they stopped being challenged. Velthar felt defensive. We have advanced steadily. Our technology has improved. Has it? Hyojin asked gently. Forgive me, but we accessed your public technical databases. Your faster-than-light technology has not fundamentally changed in 3,000 cycles. Your medical science has not had a major breakthrough in 2,000 cycles. You maintain what you have, but you do not push forward. Because pushing forward is dangerous, Velthar argued. Aggressive advancement led to the predator species wars. Yes, but advancement itself is not aggressive, Hyojin countered. Ambassador, we humans are not dangerous because we compete and struggle. We are strong because we learn to channel those traits into positive growth. We fight diseases instead of each other. We compete to solve problems instead of dominate territories. We struggle against ignorance instead of different cultures. We domesticated ourselves, Ambassador. We took our predator instincts and turned them into tools for cooperation. Velthar sat in silence, processing her words. Was it possible? Had the Council been so afraid of predator species that they missed the possibility of self-domestication? You fear what we could become, Hyojin continued. But we also fear that. So we choose carefully who we become. Every day we choose cooperation over conquest. Every generation we choose learning over domination. Yes, we have the capacity for violence, but we also have the capacity for wisdom. The Council's warning helped us choose wisdom. Over the following months, Velthar observed more of human society. He visited hospitals where doctors competed to save the most lives. He toured universities where scientists raced to make discoveries that would help everyone. He watched sporting events where athletes pushed each other to achieve greater heights while respecting their opponents. He visited the United Nations, where human nations still argued. But their arguments were about resources allocation, environmental protection, and cultural exchange. They competed for the best ideas, not territory. They struggled to understand each other better, not to conquer. He spent time at Harmony Station, watching its completion. The station was now functional, though humans continued improving it. Junho gave him access to all their communication technology. Soman showed him design plans for future stations. Yunho shared their xenobiological research freely. We are preparing for any type of species we might meet, Yunho explained, showing Velthar their medical facilities. We have equipment ready for silicon-based life, methane breathers, low-gravity species, high-gravity species. We want to be ready to help, not harm. The turning point came during a simple moment. Velthar was walking through a human school with Minji Choi when a young girl approached him. She was small, perhaps 8 Earth years old. She looked up at him with wide, curious eyes. "Are you an alien?" she asked in simple English. "I am," Velthar replied. "Cool," the girl said. Then she held out a drawing. "I made this for you. It's my family. That's me, my mom, my dad, and my little brother. I want you to know we are happy you are here. I hope your family is happy too." She ran off before Velthar could respond. He looked at the drawing. Simple stick figures, smiling under a bright sun. At the bottom, the girl had written, "Welcome, friend," in careful letters. Velthar felt his eyes burn. This child had no fear, no suspicion. Only welcome. Only hope. This was humanity's future, not warriors or conquerors. Curious, hopeful beings who drew pictures for strangers from the stars. That night, Velthar wrote his final report. His hands were steady as he typed. He knew what he had to say. He knew the council needed to hear it, even if they did not want to believe it. Honorable council members, I conclude my observation of humanity with the following assessment. We were wrong. Not about the danger they could pose, but about the threat they actually present. Humanity is a predator species that has domesticated itself. They have taken traits we fear and transformed them into strengths. They compete to help, not harm. They struggle to understand, not conquer. They thrive in adversity by supporting each other through it. I recommend immediate formal contact. Not because they are harmless, but because they are exactly what we need. We have been stagnant for too long. Humanity can teach us how to grow again. They can remind us how to challenge ourselves safely. They can show us how to channel competition into cooperation. I believe humanity is not a danger to the galaxy. I believe humanity is the galaxy's best hope for a renaissance. With respect and conviction, Ambassador Velthar. He sent the report and waited for the council's response. The council chamber was completely silent as Velthar's final report finished playing. 150 species had just heard something that challenged everything they believed about predator species. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then, Council Leader Morhen stood. I have led this council for 200 cycles. In that time, we have maintained peace through caution. We have avoided conflict through careful isolation. But perhaps we have also avoided growth. He paused, looking around the chamber. I vote to accept Velthar's recommendation. I vote for formal contact with humanity. The vote took 3 days. Representatives debated passionately. Some remained fearful. Others felt hopeful. Many were simply uncertain about breaking 10,000 cycles of policy. But slowly, vote by vote, a decision formed. On the 3rd day, the final count was announced. By a margin of 78 to 72, the Galactic Council voted to invite humanity to formal contact. not as full members but as honored guests. They would meet at Harmony Station in 3 months. When the news reached Earth, celebrations erupted around the world. People danced in the streets. Cities lit up with fireworks. Children waved flags showing Earth and stars together. Years of preparation were about to be tested. Humanity would finally meet their galactic neighbors. Hana Park stood on Harmony Station's command deck, watching the celebration broadcast from Earth. Beside her, Junho, Somin, Minji, Yunho, Hyejin, and Dongwoo gathered. They had all worked toward this moment. Now it was real. "Are we ready?" Hana asked quietly. "We have to be," Somin replied. "But honestly, I'm terrified." "Good," Junho said with a nervous laugh. "That means we understand how important this is." The 3 months passed in a blur of final preparations. Harmony Station underwent last-minute improvements. Translators practiced with advanced communication software. Cultural representatives rehearsed greeting ceremonies. Scientists prepared demonstrations of human knowledge. Artists finished pieces meant to bridge species divides. Hyejin spent those months in intense training. As Earth's first ambassador to alien species, she carried humanity's reputation on her shoulders. Minji coached her daily on communication strategies. "Remember," Minji said during their final session, "they are as nervous as we are, maybe more. We surprised them. We defied their expectations. That makes us unpredictable, and unpredictable is scary. Your job is to be consistently honest. Let them see us clearly." "What if clearly is not enough?" Hyejin asked. "What if we try our best and they still reject us?" Minji smiled. "Then at least we tried with open hearts. That has to count for something." Finally, the day arrived. 50 ships from 50 different species approached Earth's solar system. Velthar led the delegation, but he was no longer alone. The Council had sent representatives from across the galaxy. Each species was curious, cautious, and hopeful in their own way. Captain Dong Woo Yun led the escort fleet to meet them. This time, hundreds of human ships participated. Not as threats, but as an honor guard. They formed beautiful patterns in space, welcoming the visitors with coordinated flight displays. The alien ships docked at Harmony Station in a carefully planned sequence. Each species had been given quarters designed specifically for their needs. Oxygen breathers, methane breathers, high-gravity species, low-gravity species. Humans had prepared for everyone. The formal greeting ceremony took place in the Hall of First Contact. Thousands of seats filled with humans, both present and watching via broadcast to Earth. The stage stood ready, and slowly the alien representatives entered. Hyejin watched them come in, her heart pounding. So many different forms. Some walked, some floated, some rolled, some flew. Each species was unique, beautiful, and intimidating. She stood at the podium, wearing a formal suit that represented all human cultures, waiting for silence. When everyone settled, Hyejin began to speak. Her words were simultaneously translated into mathematical patterns, visual displays, and audio frequencies for all the different species. "Honored guests," she said, her voice steady despite her nerves. "Thank you for coming. Thank you for trusting us enough to be here. We know our species frightened you. We know you saw danger in our nature. We are grateful that you warned us instead of destroying us. We are grateful that you gave us a chance to prove ourselves." She paused, making sure the translations caught up. "Today, we do not ask to join your council. We do not ask for membership or privileges. We ask only for the opportunity to learn, to understand, to share what we have discovered in our short time among the stars. We are young. We are flawed. We have made terrible mistakes in our history. But we have also learned from those mistakes. We want to share those lessons with you." Hyejin gestured to the displays around the hall. "You will see our history here, the good and the bad. We hide nothing because honesty is the foundation of trust. You will see our wars and our peace treaties, our divisions and our unity, our failures and our triumphs. We show you everything so you can judge us fairly." She took a deep breath. "And we ask you to teach us how to maintain peace across thousands of cycles. Teach us how to cooperate with species completely different from ourselves. Teach us how to grow without destroying. We are eager students, ready to learn from your wisdom. The hall was silent when she finished. Then, slowly, Ambassador Velthar rose from his seat. He walked to the stage and stood beside Hyejin. When he spoke, his words carried emotion that surprised everyone. I must confess something, Velthar said to the assembled species. When we warned humanity, we were not thinking of them. We were thinking of ourselves, of our fear, of our trauma. We have been at peace for 10,000 cycles, but that peace has made us stagnant. We stopped growing because we were afraid to challenge ourselves. Humanity reminded us of something we forgot. Growth requires struggle. Advancement requires challenge. Peace is precious, but peace without purpose becomes emptiness. He turned to look at Hyejin. Humanity, you asked us to teach you. But perhaps we need to learn from you as well. You took our warning, which was born from fear, and responded with gratitude, which was born from hope. You took traits we called dangerous, and turned them into strengths. You domesticated yourselves through choice, not force. You compete to help each other. You struggle to understand each other. You thrive through cooperation, not conquest. Velthar looked back at the alien representatives. I propose a new relationship, not membership, not subordination. I propose that Earth becomes our cultural catalyst. Let humanity teach us how to safely challenge ourselves again. Let them show us how to compete without conflict. Let them remind us how to grow through positive struggle. The proposal sparked immediate discussion among the alien representatives. They spoke in dozens of languages, creating a symphony of sound. Some agreed enthusiastically. Others remained cautious. All were considering possibilities they had never imagined before. Council Leader Morhen stood, calling for silence. Let us vote. Not on whether humanity is dangerous, but on whether they offer opportunity. All in favor of accepting Earth as cultural catalysts, indicate now. One by one, species voted. The count was slow but steady. When it finished, the result was clear. 112 species voted in favor. Only 38 voted against. Earth had been accepted. The celebration that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Humans and aliens mingled carefully but happily. Translation technology worked over time. Cultural exchanges began immediately. Scientists shared data. Artists compared techniques. Philosophers discussed ideas. Junho found himself explaining human competitive sports to a species that had never understood the concept. We push each other to be better, he explained. Not to hurt, but to improve. The competition makes us stronger, but we still help our opponents up when they fall. Salmon gave tours of Harmony Station to alien engineers, explaining human construction techniques. We built this together, she said proudly. Every nation contributed, every culture participated. We competed to see who could help the most. Yunho worked with alien scientists, sharing human biological research. We want to understand how to help all forms of life, he explained, not just our own. We prepared for species we have never met because caring should not wait for familiarity. Minji coordinated communication workshops, helping both humans and aliens understand each other better. Misunderstanding causes most conflicts, she taught. Clear communication prevents most wars. We learned this slowly and painfully, but we learned it. That evening, as Earth celebrated below and aliens explored Harmony Station above, Hana found Hyejin standing alone on the observation deck. They watched Earth together, seeing their home from above. We did it, Hana said softly. We actually did it. We did, Hyejin agreed. But this is just the beginning. Now comes the hard part. Proving every day that they were right to trust us. We will, Hana said with confidence, because that is what humans do. We rise to challenges. We grow through struggle. We compete to be worthy of the trust others give us. 5 years later, Harmony Station had become the most vibrant place in council space. Human teachers worked across dozens of worlds, helping stagnant civilizations remember how to challenge themselves. Human athletes introduced competitive sports that brought communities together. Human artists inspired alien cultures to try new forms of expression. Human scientists collaborated on projects that advanced understanding for everyone. The galaxy was experiencing a renaissance. Species that had not changed in thousands of cycles were innovating again. Cultures that had become rigid were loosening up. Societies that had stopped growing were pushing forward. All because humanity showed them that struggle could be positive, that competition could be cooperative, and that challenges could bring joy. Junho stood in the observation deck of Harmony Station with Ambassador Velthar one evening, watching ships come and go. Humans and aliens working together, learning together, growing together. "What will you do now that the galaxy is open to you?" Velthar asked. Junho smiled. "The same thing we have always done. We will compete to see who can help the most. We will struggle to understand our neighbors better. We will create stories about our shared future. And we will grow together, always together." Velthar made a sound that Junho had learned was his species version of a laugh. "You know, when I sent that warning, I thought I was protecting the galaxy from humanity." "And now?" Junho asked. "Now I know I was protecting humanity for the galaxy," Velthar replied. "You were exactly what we needed. We were so afraid of predators that we never considered the possibility of a domesticated predator. A species that could channel danger into kindness, aggression into ambition, competition into cooperation." "We are not perfect," Junho reminded him. "We still make mistakes. We still have conflicts." "Of course you do," Velthar said. "Perfection is stagnation. Mistakes mean you are still trying. Conflicts mean you still care enough to disagree. That is life. That is growth. That is what we forgot during our long peace." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the dance of ships outside. Human vessels and alien craft moving together in harmony. Not because they were the same, but because they learned to celebrate their differences. The Galactic Council had sent a warning to Earth, expecting fear or defiance. Earth had responded with gratitude, transforming a threat into an invitation. That simple act of perspective had changed everything. It had opened the galaxy to humanity, and it had opened the Council to growth. Sometimes the most dangerous thing is not a predator, but stagnation. And sometimes the most powerful response is not aggression, but gratitude. Earth had learned that lesson, and now they were teaching it to the galaxy. The stars belonged to everyone now, and the universe was better for it.